headless UI libraries like Radix UI, the backbone of Shadcn UI, and Headless UI have gained a lot of popularity in the last years. Judging by their websites, they look modern and seem very practical. But while they look good on paper or on screens, you should probably avoid using them. So what are headless UI libraries? Headless UI libraries are just libraries that come with unstyled components, which means that you can import the components and style them yourself. And the library just implements the behavior part. And this can be very useful if you're building something like a popover or an accordion or a combo box. And compared to trying to style a normal UI library like Material UI or Bootstrap, the process is actually way simpler. So when you're using headless UI libraries, the components have data attributes that you can use to style the components, which means that you can create your own components and basically own the code. So I have used a few libraries myself, and I have faced a few difficulties that I really want to share with you today. So the first challenge that I had to face was having to style the components myself. And to be honest, I'm not that good at UI design. I think that UX and UI design is a broad field, and when it comes to websites, even changes in the spacing can make a huge difference. Second thing that I realized while using these libraries is that at the end of the day, I still don't own 100% of the code. Actually, you are always dependent on third-party libraries, which means that there's always a risk that they're going to be abandoned or they're going to have bugs in them. And comparing these libraries to normal UI libraries, I found that the setup is always a few steps more than the other. And with more flexibility comes more responsibility. I found that when you have too much control over your code, it can end up looking a bit too verbose. Just look at the pagination component in Shadcn UI and compare it with the pagination component in Montaigne, which is a normal UI library. You can see that in a normal UI library, the API is very sleek. You just pass in props, and in comparison to other libraries, you always have to deal with these components and subcomponents. And this can really add up when you're using these kind of components everywhere in your code base. And if you're writing your own components on top of the headless UI libraries, which you should, of course, then you will have to think a lot about the API that you want to offer from your components to the users of the components. And this is just an extra step that you normally don't have to deal with. But the good news is that there are also new UI libraries out there that look modern and are also super customizable. And the most famous ones are Montaigne or Chakra UI. Just look at the documentation, you can see that it's super easy to change basically everything about these libraries, like the colors, spacing, font, etc. And in 99% of the projects, the defaults are more than enough. So what's the takeaway? Well, first of all, I don't want to take anything away from the amount of effort and time it takes to create any open source project. And I think it's super interesting to see different kind of UI libraries emerging with time. So that's something that really makes me happy. And I think that headless UI libraries have their own use case, which is when you're building your own brand UI library, which means that you don't have to start from scratch when creating components, but you can already take something like Radix UI and just style it. And you have the advantage that your UI components are accessible. If you have a dedicated designer or design team that has laid down some brand guidelines and style system, then I think that headless UI libraries could be a really good starting point for you. But if you're a solo developer or you're making a side project on your own, then you can get a lot of mileage out of existing UI libraries. So thanks for watching the video and see you in the next one. And with more responsibility comes more flexibility. Wrong.